What have we got for Gemini? Underlying energy this week is death and transformation, change, rebirth. Now, there are different stages to death. And the example I always give is if we were redecorating a room, if we wanted it to be brand new, right? We wanted a brand new room. We have to take all the furniture out. We have to remove the wallpaper. We have to remove the carpets. At some point, you're going to go into that room. There's going to be nothing there. And I always feel like death shows up when everything's been removed. And like sometimes we can get upset by that. Even when we want change, even when we want this kind of transformation, it's almost like, you know, everything's left. What's going on here? And I don't know who else I said this for. I said it for one of the other videos that I did the readings, but it almost feels with these aces coming in that someone's come into your garden and pulled out all your flowers, pulled out all the plants, removed all the trees. Your garden's just lying there empty now. And you're kind of figure out, well, what can I bring to life now? What can I grow here? And some people are going to look at that and think I've got nothing left. Other people are going to look at that and think I've got an empty canvas now. I've got a clear canvas. What can I paint on here? What can I bring in that's new? So change, transformation, rebirth. Even if you're in an existing situation, like death doesn't always mean the end of a situation. But if you look at it, if you were really objectively look at this situation, you're going to realize it's completely changed. It's not the same. You've transformed. Either your work, your job, your relationship, whatever, that's transformed. There's something completely new that you have to work with now. At the heart of your reading, we have the Ace of Pentacles, and the Ace of Pentacles is all about planting a new seed, something that leads to your long-term stability, security, and support. Now, I've been seeing this card a lot in this batch of readings, and I get it. You know, it feels like a lot of us have been doing soul searching, dark night of the soul, losing people, losing things, changing the way we feel about things. I mean, that's Scorpio energy. Venus has been retrograde in Scorpio for a bit now, right? And it kind of feels out of that. You want some, and I think a lot of us do, we want something stable. We're sick to death of being thrown around all over the place, uncertainty, not knowing what's going on. I want something that's going to lead me to long-term security and stability. I want that relationship, the person that I can get old with, grow old with, not get old with, but grow old with. The job that I'm going to be there until I draw my pension. I want to give my all. I want something that's stable. You know, starting your own business, the Ace of Pentacles can, I mean, it's Ace of Coins in this deck, but Ace of Pentacles can be a new way of earning money, a career change, complete career change. Now, that comes after this, which I love that this is in the past for you guys. Two of Swords, it's where we're trying to make two truths work. Even a dual sign like Gemini, even you guys with the twins, even you, and that's sometimes I think that's a Gemini thing. You know, when people say Gemini, you guys change your minds too much, and it's like, no, they don't. Everything that they're saying is true for one of the twins, but this feels like it was two truths that you were trying to make work that were not working. We're not working. Why do we say that? Each of these swords is a sword of truth. Usually they're crossed in front of the person's chest, but she doesn't have them crossed here. She's holding them up. But by holding up two truths that neither of them is like fully working for her, she's obscuring her view. She doesn't see a way forward because she's trying to keep the status quo. So this card always says, look, a decision needs to be made. You have to pick one of the truths. You can't have two of them. You can't try to make, this is not going to happen. You can't hold those two swords up forever. Put down one of the swords and go with your truth. So I don't know actually if you've made this decision yet or not. I'm not fully even getting that from some of you might have. And that's, you know, when it doesn't fully elaborate on the energy of that, I often think it's because it's going to be different for each of you. It's general, right? Some of you, the decision's been made for you. It's been removed from your life or it's changed. For others of you, it's still kind of, there's something that you know from this. Everything serves us, right? Even this time of deliberating between, do I want to do this or do I want to do that? You know, am I seeing this clearly? Should I just keep things the same? Going through that process, it's given you some insight, some knowledge. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because it's the High Priestess is coming up here. Others of you have made that decision, but you've not acted on it yet with the High Priestess coming up. Because that's the thing with the High Priestess. Yeah, she's intuitive. And so, I think someone said before, there's no cups. So you don't need bloody cups when you've got the high priestess. She is that intuition. She is that spirituality that's represented by cups. But the thing with her is she has the knowledge. She has that gut feeling. She has that intuition. But she can be a little bit passive. Now, some of you are learning. The high priestess, she can be a teacher sometimes. And I know the Hierophant is seen as universities and, you know, higher education and that kind of thing. It might be, but this is more kind of occult knowledge, learning. You might have some intuition about yourself. There might be some kind of spiritual practice that you've taken up that's helping you through. I mean, that could be the transformation that you've changed. And a lot of the readings that have been coming up, it's been the death or the transfer is the death of the old us. Guys, think about it. We've had retrogrades all bloody summer or in the northern hemisphere. I'm not going to be a hemispherist. All bloody winter in the south, right? That's changed us. And it's like Venus is now, this Venus retrograde, it's the bloody, I don't want to say the icing on the cake, but it is that. It's the final step. It's fully helping us to realize what we want out of a situation. I know it's difficult. It's been difficult. So the high priestess, she's passive energy though. She's passive energy. And it might be because you're still trying to figure it out. It might be that you don't trust what your gut is telling you. Get an extra clarifier for that high priestess. Because the present is the point of power, right? There will be action. There will be action coming in. But I think you're trying to figure out what your next step should be, because the Ace of Wands coming up, the future is always a projection from where we are. So she's kind of sat there mulling over what she knows, which has changed because of this energy. And it's based on going forward with something stable, something solid, something. This is the Sun card in the Minor Arcana, the Ace of Pentacles, giving birth to something new, planting that seed that's going to grow into this beautiful oak tree, right? I don't know if it's an oak tree, but I like oak trees. All right, guys, this is your intuition. This is what you know. You guys know. Let's get that straight. First of all, you know. The hardest thing that I have to, and I started talking about this at the end of the intro, the live intro that I did, but it got cut off. So I want to say this to you. Most people, they don't trust their intuition. They don't trust it, especially if it's an intuition about some change that's happened. But why? Why do you not trust it? Because everyone's so tired this week. We have the 9 of Wands coming up. You're exhausted. And you know, when you're tired, you don't know. It might be, I don't know, like say you came back from work and you're exhausted and your partner said to you, hey, you know, shall we do this on Saturday? And it's like Wednesday and you're like, I don't know. You don't know because you're exhausted. It's like, ask me in the morning when I'm rested and when my mind is clear. That's kind of what's going on here. The reason you've not acted on it yet is, first of all, there's 2 things. Either there's something new calling you with death coming up, but you're not giving up on something. You're not giving up on it. But even then, if you're not giving up on it, it kind of feels like you're waiting for it to come into you. That's not what the Ace of Wands is. Wands is action. That's why it's moving towards action. That's why your advice is action. Take action. Because this is not going to work. You're just going to, your life force is just going to leave you. You're depleted. It's great to not want to give up on something. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. There's no judgment here. But if you sit here with what you know and do nothing about it, what happens? Not a lot. Not a lot. So, but you are exhausted. So I get that. For some of you, you need a rest. You need a rest. Now, I'm going to say this to you. I'll put that there for a moment, but I want to bring up these 2. The High Priestess and the Hierophant, for me, I know a lot of readers don't do this, but I do. I see these 2 as they are the true, like pure divine masculine and the divine feminine. Think about it. The Hierophant is the earthly representation, the masculine representation of spiritual knowledge. This is going to be religions, that kind of thing, the very kind of masculine side of it. The High Priestess is the divine feminine. She's intuition. She's spirituality. She's the ethereal. She's the other realms. That's where her knowledge comes from. So, as an added kind of energy that's coming in here, added message, for some of you, this is about a true a true soul bond. And I don't mean, I know it's very easy. I mean, all of us say that, you know, that when we connect with someone, it's a soulmate. And I treat everyone like my soulmate. It's not that. This is, you're both on a spiritual path. It's the true meaning of that spiritual path. It can be like what people call a twin flame connection, but the true essence of a twin flame connection, where you're here for the greater good, for this, you know, there's been a spiritual awakening here. Whoever this person is, if this is your message and it's to do with that, it's changed everything in your life. Death. That's why you're uncertain. Gemini, that knows everything, you guys are as bad as Aquarius when it comes to being a know-it-all. You know, that's what we do. We know everything. But it's like, I know it, but I don't know what to do with it because this is new knowledge. I never thought about this kind of stuff before. I never realized this kind of stuff before. And because it's intuition, it's kind of up there. And you're tired. Drains you. For some, I'm seeing this as ascension symptoms, that kind of thing. It's that kind of soul fatigue, weariness of, oh God, do I know this? What do I do? Well, that's going to change when we have the Ace of Wands coming in. But you know what, guys? The main thing that you can do here is, please, first of all, get some rest with the Nine of Wands coming up. You don't have to give up on it. Pausing is not giving up on something. But then take one step. Do something to go, I know you've been through a lot. Death is telling me that. But take one step to express, that's purely channeled, that message. Express that new you, express that new intuition, whatever it is. One step, whether it's a Google search, whether it's a communication with someone, do something air kind of related. Because someone keeps saying that there's no cups here. But you know what? The only swords that are here are in the past as well. Because you don't need that. You don't need cups showing up if you are already good in your emotions. Ace of Wands is the spark, the excitement, the enthusiasm, the energy returns, the passion returns. That's what's been lacking. That's why you're exhausted. Because you've been doing this, you've been going through this, you've got this new understanding of what your truth is. But it's got you on your knees right now. But the Ace of Wands is beautiful. This is new beginnings, new opportunities coming in. But it starts off with a spark like that with the Ace of Wands. But how does that happen? Remember, the future is a projection from where we are. That's what you want. A lot of you want that, you know, something to get excited about, some new project. I don't want to just deal with all this stuff that's going on. I want something new. I want to act. I want to go out and do something. I want to express my creativity, my passion for a person, for a job, for whatever. And yeah, some of you might have been looking at this, the practical, but it kind of it starts from the spark. It starts from your passion. That's why your advice is the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands, yes, some of you might be dealing with a fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Doesn't have to be. It's your advice. What it's telling you to do is go be the adventurer. Go be the explorer. Now, this is the card for Sagittarius more specifically, which is your opposite sign, right? So think about it. Gemini is usually the Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Swords is they're getting information, speaking their truth, going out, doing all of those kind of Knight of Swords things, right? But this is different. This is the input. What does it mean? What does all that information mean for you? What does your intuition mean? How can you take it in a new direction? The Knight of Wands, he lives in the moment. He's true to his passion. Is this fun? Am I enjoying this? Does it give me energy? Or is it depleting me? Nine of Wands. And the crazy thing is, he's seen as unreliable, right? He's seen as unreliable. And I kind of get the sense a lot of you are trying. I'm sorry to say this. I don't care what age you are. You could be any age. You could be bloody 80, 90 watching this. But it's almost like you're trying to be more grown up or to be more responsible. But it's kind of thrown you. It's kind of thrown you because you have this sense of adventure about you. You have this sense of passion, and that's what's lacking. Being grown up doesn't mean you stop having fun. You know, it doesn't mean that. And he's going to go for a new experience. He's going to go explore a different land. He wants a new experience. That doesn't mean a new situation, doesn't have to be a new job, but you bring a different energy to it. You bring the energy to it. That's how this thing sparks off. And that's just it. How I know it's not being unreliable, how I know that. And don't forget the Two of Swords is here. I think this is about acting on that truth that you figured out when this was going on. That's been tormenting you here. Why do I say that? Because we've got the Hierophant coming up with this, and this is about commitment. Commit. You can be this fun-loving, adventurous, go out there and have these new experiences and commit. It doesn't have to be either or. Trust me, I get that. I get that. There have been times in my life when I was like, I'm not committing, because you kind of feel like it's a chain and ball around your ankle, right? But it doesn't have to even be that. Even if it's a job, right? You might be looking at jobs that bore the snot out of you. Like, you're like, oh, this is boring. But if I want to be an adult, if I want the grown-up car, the grown-up whatever, then I have to do. You don't have to do it. It comes from your passion. You can commit to something. But remember, with the Hierophant, this is conforming, right? We conform to something. But it's our choice what we conform to. The Hierophant, I mean, let's have a look. We've got Scorpio energy here. We've got Taurus energy here. Fire energy coming in here. But what I would say to you guys is this is about you. I kind of feel like you're trying to ground yourself, but you're doing it in a way of someone who doesn't really know how to ground themselves. And it's okay. It's okay. You know, it's like a bird saying, I'm going to be more responsible. I'm going to build my nest on the ground, and I'm just going to start walking. Now, birds aren't very good at walking. They fly. That's you guys. It's okay for you to spread your wings and fly. You can still commit to something. Let's talk about the Hierophant. The Hierophant are the stories that what we're taught. For some of you, with this coming up, this is conflict between two different spiritual or religious beliefs. This could be someone who's following an orthodox religion. This is someone who's into spirituality in whatever form that comes in. And, you know, it's finding the connection between that. The Hierophant can be our family saying, we're all doctors, you have to be a doctor as well. And you're like, I'm not a doctor. I want to be a punk rocker or something, like, you know, I'm a musician. It can be that with the Knight of Wands coming in, because he doesn't really, he wants what he wants. He wants the adventure. He wants to live an exciting life. This can be religion telling you that you have to marry someone from the same religion. It can be society telling you, you can't date someone. You can't date someone who's from, you know, who's older, that much older than you, younger than you. It could be age difference relationships.